Okay. So I've got to press recording. We're now recording, and so I've got some notes here. So what way do you want to run this, guys? Do you want us to kind of give you our observations and then you answer them, or do you have questions and we go from there?
No, I think we'll just go with the flow. See, basically, we just wanted to understand an overview of payroll, and if possible, if you could show us how you do it a little bit, and then what are the keys. That's about what we're looking for.
Okay. Well, I'll let Annette and there's a thing on here about payroll. I just find it there. I'll let Annette and Lisa then talk through this.
Okay.
I kind of report to them on it to a large degree. We should just get that out.
Okay, wonderful. Oh, you made a set of notes also. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So these are the key issues. So, okay, Lisa or Annette, do you want to kind of take turns of running through them and say? I suppose the thing to do is what works well and what doesn't work well. Okay, that's probably the way to look at this. Yeah.
Like we have a very good desktop version payroll software at the moment. So we took kind of cues on what they do really well and what's missing, so like the first thing that would be missing from the current payroll software is like some sort of portal where employers and employees can communicate with us. Like we were thinking as well, like say if there is a software and an employer does the payroll, that an employee could just jot down their hours and then you take it from the software. And also like where you can collect your pay slips, so they don't, like they're emailed to you, but a lot of the times we would have a question where somebody is going to the bank looking for a loan, and then you have to give them like 3 months worth of pay slips. And, so if there would be like a portal somewhere or like a, where they could just take the pay slips and, without having to contact us or their employer, in that case. So that, then the second one would be a email pay slips out, directly from the software, and then audit trail that it shows us that the pay slips are actually have been sent and have arrived, or if they have bounced back.
So generally what we do is we batch email the pay slips, and then a copy goes to the employer as one PDF.
And that's the same then with the liability reports, isn't it? Like we email them out, so everybody is on the same track. They know exactly what's going to be deducted from their bank account. And then we need annual reports for ourselves.
I might just stop there. The payroll software we use is colsoft.ie. It's desktop based, and it does not integrate with QuickBooks, which is a sickener, So I'm presuming that if you guys are developing payroll software for Ireland, a lot of the bookkeeping hassles every bookkeeper has to deal with, an accountant, will be automatically solved by a lot of these things, because there'll be a payroll option there, so the trail is there. When the payroll is done, it'll automatically, I presume, post to the profit and loss and the liability areas, and it's integrating with the bank as well, so it'll match up. And the big thing there for Andrew and Kinney and Maya is there's fines over here that if you, the girls will correct me if I'm wrong, you've got to tell the taxman the day you pay the employee, and if you pay them on a different day and the taxman finds out by inspecting you, he has the right to fine you €4,000 per incident.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like you guys integrating with QuickBooks would be great because there's a bank connection there. So it could be a case the payroll is done, the employer says, I'm okay with that. You send out the pay slips and instruct the bank to make the payment, probably, on the same, it's all there anyway, But anyway, you guys know your job, but the big savior is it takes you away from the danger of this 4,000 fine. That's the big thing. So I'll show you the rules that we run the pay slip on in a minute, and to keep ourselves in the clear. and on this, and it's I'll email it down to you because it keeps manners on business owners and payroll people. So anyway, just a little interruption there, kind of showing why some of this is important. Yeah.
No,
yeah. We had during COVID at the beginning, there were various grant schemes, and it was super complicated. So there needs to be like a high level of support and legislation. Like with CallSoft, we were, or actually Lisa, we were on a different program in 2020, and there wasn't that level of support. And we were very lucky that CallSoft allowed us to join their webinars, to get up to speed with all the changes that happened so fast. And they were very good with implementing the changes to their software, and guiding us through, like we could then mimic it on our software. So yeah, but CallSoft will never go online. They told us they will never go online. And so, yeah. Then an annual leave calculator and tracker would be great. I think batch pay option you mentioned, Lisa, did you? Right.
Yeah, batch pay. Yeah, so if you have a payroll that everybody's the same as the previous, you could just batch pay everyone in one go and half your time working on it.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so I mean, just if I may, I think if I can summarize this correctly, I think you have a software, callsoft.ie, as you mentioned, a desktop-based one to be sure, which meets some of the key functionalities. But out of these 11 odd points that you have, at least 7 or 8 seem to be around the fact that it is not cloud-based, right? Sharing the employee portal, emailing, and saving a copy of the pay slips, all these reports. So just out of curiosity, why is it that you haven't yet considered any cloud-based solution, or are there no good solutions in Ireland that are cloud-based that meet your requirements?
Well, CallSoft actually have quite a few of these on the list. It's more so like it's not the share the portal. So you can email the payslips, but they don't have the email trail, audit trail. So we can't, if you're having a hectic day and you think, did I send the payslips? You can't see if you did. So it's not, CallSoft have quite a few of these, but not all of them. We did look into, was it Simple Pay, Annette? Was that the one?
Yeah.
And they were quite good. They had the share portal actually, and they had quite a lot of good bits in it, but their pricing was it was not cost effective.
I see. Okay. Okay. So you put, I think, if I'm reading the 11th point correctly, $400 plus VAT, and that's, let's say, somewhere between $400 and $500. So simple. I mean, for how many employees do you process payroll roughly? I mean, to understand why it's not cost effective.
Oh gosh, we would have maybe 20, 30 employers with up to anything from 5 to maybe we've about 4 or 5 employers and employ 7 to 10 people. Yeah. Okay. So and the software, the online software we quoted, we're charging per payslip, so it was absolutely not. So we would maybe have in a month something like 200, 300 payslips. And if you charge per payslip, it's just it then comes down to the annual fee. CallSoft is charging us for unlimited payslips.
I see. Okay, so it's a question of costing that. That's very.
Yeah.
Even a couple of euros per month would be a lot, because that's 200 employees that you're processing. So that even if you charge 2 euros per month, that's $400. Sorry, euros already. And yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So that's the. Sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, I did say to one guy, remember that guy we had in Kerry, Lisa and Annette? We were doing payroll and then everything would disappear. You were never sure if it was done right or not. It was heart-stopping stuff. And he was quite cheap, but we didn't select him because he was cheap at the time. We selected him because he was online. And when we left him, he said to me, how much are you paying the new crowd? I must have quoted that figure. And he said, well, that's way dearer than me. And I had to say to him, I said, cost is not an option. It was peace of mind was the big option. Because when you're doing it for somebody else, if you walk them into those fines and they get a fine of $4,000 or something because of a routine inspection. How do you answer that if you haven't submitted it right and they've opened it up? Now we have rules to keep manners on them now, but the way he was doing it, we were never sure when we pressed the button, was it gone in or not? And whereas now we've tightened up all our procedures to avoid that happening. So the peace of mind is a great one, you know, and obviously, and it is kind of a tricky area. So to be easy, like QuickBooks is very easy on the eye, like that formula works well, you know, so a lot of what you're doing is completely in the right direction. It's just to know the technicalities of this, yeah. So.
Okay.
I was just going to say, in terms of your clients, how do you sort of bill them for the service? Is that, do you work on a payslip basis or on a client basis? And is it interesting just to get that sort of understanding of how you approach that? Yeah,
we charge by the payslip. So if it's weekly payslips, in our here anyway, it's €5 per payslip. If it's bi-weekly, every 2 weeks, it's €8. And if it's monthly, it's €15 per payslip. So we encourage them to go monthly if it's feasible for them, because that's only 12 payslips a year. And if QuickBooks is online and we can see what's going on, you know, we're pretty connected. So now weekly means there's a lot more time involved with us. So that's why there's a money difference. And we mimicked a crowd in England who I've met actually at a recent conference. Things to watch out for, because it's the same type of system in the UK apparently, and our crowd here have copied what they like over there. So the main one is, I'll just give the slight history. 10 years ago, when we had a massive recession, loads of companies went under, and the one person that wasn't paid was the tax man. So all the taxes for the employees were used to keep the bank away, while interest rates rocketed. Businesses couldn't get any, there was a big property crash. So all the money that was deducted off the employees got sucked into the banks for their direct debits, where they were grabbing money, and a load of our banks went broke. So as the liquidations happened and they worked out who was owed money, it seemed to be the tax man was owed the most every time. So now when you can tell the tax man who you're paying and what you're paying them before you pay them, he's able to take his cut early, so he's not being left at the end. That was the big change. So what we do is on this, say it's every week or something. This is there's a big, which is the one we say. We let them know 4 days beforehand. Say, is this what your wages are going to be again this month, or can you fill it? They've got to. We give them an indication 4 days beforehand. Is this what you want to pay on Friday? We'll say, and as long as they come back within 2 days, we can finalize. Issue the stuff, and say we finalize on Wednesday and say on Friday this is what you pay everybody, and then we tell the tax man that, and it goes through smoothly. So if they do that, we actually knock 10% off. I'll just give you an idea how we keep manners on these people. We knock 10% off that €5 a week fee. But if they come back, if they don't come to us in the 2 days and they start making changes in that run-in the last couple of days, we add on 50%. Okay. And the whole reason is we don't want to find ourselves on a Friday afternoon and someone's saying, well, I'm going on holidays, I've got to pay the wages and this, you know, all that crap. So this English crowd, they were nearly suicidal with the hassle they were under. And so the good thing is you can draft it early. So on a Monday, you can say the payment date will be Friday. This is what you paid everyone last week, last month. Is there any changes to this? Now we do give them a Google Sheet to update, and this is where the portal comes into it. So they can say, I want to pay Andrew 500 gross, I want to pay Kinney 400 gross. Okay, and the thing there, Lisa, has called RPN. So if people are married, single, whatever, you don't know what's going on in their lives, every week it tells us what the tax-free amount on their wages will be. And that is where you connect with our IRS, we'll call it, yeah. So the payroll software will connect in with that and say, what are the tax-free amounts that these people are entitled to this week, this month, depending on what the payment thing is. And once we're told the gross, it just mathematically works out the net. But the key thing is that we've told the tax man what day we're paying it. And that's on the payslip, yeah. Is that right, girls? Am I missing anything there? So.
Yeah,
That's correct. Yeah, it's just on CallSoft. You know, like this where Kevin has highlighted. Download prompt. When you set the date for somebody's payroll, it automatically comes up as red. So we'll say somebody's supposed to be paid today, the 4th to the 11th. When we click into CallSoft, we can see Kevin, Barry and co. And the 4th to the 11th is highlighted red to say you're supposed to have your payroll submitted today. And that won't go green until the payroll is submitted. So just those kind of warnings are important, you know, and the prompts that come up on the screen. In Ireland, we have to download the RPA and the tax credit cert every time you do the payroll. Otherwise, you're doing the payroll incorrectly. So again, once you go into this week's wages, the prompt box comes up on the screen to say download RPNs. You know, so it's just these warnings, I guess, if you're having a busy day or that you're not going to, you know, miss a step.
Gotcha. So there's what you're saying is that revenue.ie or whatever the portal which you were just referring to. There are 2 steps. One is you have to download something with the RPNs from before you process the current month's payroll, process the payroll based on the timesheets or whatever other inputs you get, and then submit it back to them saying that this is what we're going to do and on what date. And then both the tax payments, the statutory payments, and the payroll has to be made on that day. Is that correct? That's how the process.
Yeah, so we have a revenue online account, and you have to give your certificate and password to the software. You know, so you have to load it into the software, and that's how the software communicates with revenue. So it's a direct communication between the software and revenue. Has to be. I don't know how it's done, but I'm sure you know.
No, yeah. Basically, you're using a PC or, you know, it's cloud-based, which is always connected with the revenue. It has internet connections at all times. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, one more thing. Is there any requirement that you have to have a certification of some kind to process payroll in Ireland as a payroll provider, or anyone can do it?
No, you need to say if you're an employer. Say somebody has QuickBooks and now wants to use QuickBooks payroll, they have to have this online certificate, this revenue online certificate. It's called ROS, but everybody has it. You know, every business would have that, and that's the way. You would submit.
That is an employer registration of some kind with the authority.
Yeah.
I'm saying the person who's doing payroll, do they need some qualification or certification?
No.
Okay.
So say if an employer just wants to do it, you know, for themselves, they can.
Yeah, that's one way. Suppose there's some person employed to do payroll and accounts in a company. Okay. Does that person need to have some kind of examination or certification for payroll? Or for example, is Kevin, Barry and company is doing it? Does, let's say, Annette or Lisa or Kevin need to have some kind of certification that they are the one person?
No. Yeah, we do have those things, but no, we don't have to have them. Yeah. So.
Oh, it's not mandatory, but you can if you want to, something like that. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I see. Okay. Got it. Okay, I think I've got a broad sense of what you're looking for. Maya, do you have any questions, or Andrew?
I think I've got a pretty good handle on it in terms of where you see I suppose some of the gaps, particularly around the automation and the self-service. That seems to be the one that sort of stands out to me. So if you could somehow get the data directly into from the employer into the system through some sort of time sheet or automation, or that's just going to save you a keying issue. And then if you could somehow have a self-service portal which enabled the employees to actually access information on, maybe it's on leave, pay slips, a whole range of other things, that would be beneficial. Yeah. Okay.
You know what's handy on QuickBooks? Like, there's a lot of existing stuff that's handy there. The create request on QuickBooks at the moment is a good one to employers. Like, that would work with, you know, if you're integrated with payroll, here's your employees. If it's tick them off, it'll say, and can you advise us, you know, within 24 hours what the gross payroll is? We'll work out the net. Or, you know, if it's if it's a bookkeeper, that type of thing. So there's a lot of stuff there that we find ourselves, and we've, like I gave the girls there a week one time to check out all the providers and narrow it down. We wanted someone in the cloud and all this. And there's no leader here at the moment, you know, like call software would be the best, but they're never going online. So you have to kind of tweak it, and it doesn't integrate with any software, you know, so something that would integrate with QuickBooks, and, you know, when the payroll goes through, it'll match up and all those things that we're used to now. It would be great. And I know you mentioned a Simple Pay there, but there's Sage Payroll. There's loads of other ones around, but it's a Thesaurus that's really clunky.
Yeah, like we viewed all the like thesaurus. It's the absolute disaster. Sage, you can't make any changes at all. It's clients use software, and we find so many mistakes with other software providers where things go in wrong, like, because most of our clients, they do the payroll themselves. We encourage them to use us, but they try to go out by themselves, and it's quite a disaster.
Oh, okay.
Some
It's
of
a
the
growth
time.
area. It's a big growth area.
Yeah,
you know? And we
But I
haven't
think-
pushed it, you know, so what we're going to now, we get this income tax deadline over. Yeah.
Money is a big thing why clients don't. So if they're using QuickBooks Online, at least we could have an eye on it. So if they want to choose to use QuickBooks Payroll, you know, then we could keep an eye on it, and make sure that it's done right. But the softwares they're currently using is
Not great.
It's a big problem.
So you obviously provide QuickBooks to your clients as part of a service. Would that be something that would be interest to you, where you would say, okay, here's as part of your monthly fee, here's QuickBooks plus payroll? Or do you not want to get involved in that aspect of it? So there's like
Oh no, we'd get involved in it. Yeah, we're already involved in it. Yeah, but we would just say to them, if you want us to do your payroll, it's only on QuickBooks we're going to do it. You know, that's how we would That's how we would do it. It's not a case that we would go onto their software and do that, because we wouldn't be expert enough. So at the moment now we're expert on call software. But there's a QuickBooks one there that would already integrate with all the QuickBooks clients we're rolling out, and training and support. And that'd be the way to go. Yeah, you know, definitely. Yeah, there's no. And I think that would be, everyone would be fine with that. Yeah. I just need to have those little, as Lisa and Annette were saying, those warnings that take away the stresses, you know, so your payroll is completed, but needs to be submitted on the payment date, you know, so today is Wednesday. So if we were paying payroll on Friday, I'd do your wages today. I'd say we're going to pay it Friday. Friday comes, I've been at a few things. I think when I turn on QuickBooks, it says, you know, your payroll is not submitted. That normal little reminder thing. You know, those are our lifesavers. Yeah? And we've loads of clients who've made mistakes with the payroll. You know, we discover it during the accounts. And, you know, we hate coming back with the bad news, but it's another way to say, if the taxman finds out about this, there's big trouble down the road. To avoid it, okay, you need to hire someone like us or do training or something, you know, so, and we're discovering loads of that where people have made the blunders. We'll point them out. We don't have to whistleblow on it, but that's how we build part of the way you build a business, you know. I saw a good one lately, by the way, Accountex North England, Andrew, but you know, I know you guys used to go to that. I went over to the Manchester, and some fella, I wrote down his name, had a statistic that the growth in people, what people have to have is only 2%. They have to have it, but don't want, like an income tax return. But the growth in the advisory is something like per annum, 20% to 200%. So the thing that girls pointed out there was the holiday leave calculator. So there's this country is full of inspectors going around to see, are you giving people enough time off and all this, you know? And that is, you know, especially in the hospitality industry or unionized areas, that is a big hassle. So we've discovered people we've taken on who are never doing that correctly. And I just know from businesses, you know, some employees always find out about this in the end, and if they don't get paid fast, they walk out, and all that grief, and it can lead to a tribunal, you know, all those things. So the downside of having hassle with the employees isn't worth the shortcuts. So it's peace of mind is the big one. Yeah. So is that right, girls? Does that be the fair enough comment?
Yeah.
Kevin,
Big smiles
just one
there.
follow-up question on that just point you made. Are there clients you have that do only payroll with you and not accounting?
We've one or two who just do
Yeah.
payroll, like I'm thinking
Yeah.
of the lamplight guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
otherwise,
there is only one or two, yeah.
but otherwise, is the typical path first with accounting, then with payroll, or how does it work?
Sorry,
The
can you
what,
say-
sorry? Yeah.
No, I'm saying when a client comes to you, they come first to do their bookkeeping with you and then the payroll, or I mean, I was just saying which is the way they come to you, whether it's for payroll first or for bookkeeping first.
It's usually together, really. They come and they want the full
Both together, okay.
package, yeah.
But I think we try to get into the payroll market to just have payroll, that's the one part of Kevin's website, that we try to attract people just through our payroll service, and then maybe get into their accounting side as well.
I
Get in any way we can.
We'll climb into the window.
Yeah, gotcha. Maya, you wanted to look like you had a question. You want to ask something?
I just want, because you mentioned briefly that when clients come on board, sometimes they come with like some cloud tool that they used to use, and that's how you find like a lot of issues with the cloud solutions. I just wanted to know, do your clients usually come from doing payroll like using a cloud solution, or do they more use like something more manual and then they come for you to find that solution?
Probably usually manual, I would say, in it, really, isn't it? The source is not online.
It's now online. Like I think as people, move around more, they're more inclined to go for cloud solutions. They don't want to, they don't want to be tied to their desktop computer. They want to have it on, access it wherever they are.
Yeah.
And have us take a look at it, I suppose.
Yeah.
We have a client who we do bookkeeping and accounting for, but they run their own payroll. But if they have a question, I can log into their cloud or net and we can say, this is what's wrong, or, so that from that area. And when it comes to their accounts, we can pull reports ourselves. We don't have to go to them to get them,
Yeah, there's
But we wouldn't be experts on their software, and we don't want to be experts on their software, so we don't want to take responsibility. Whilst if there were a QuickBooks payroll software, we could become experts and then advise people, that it's done, and we could be sure that it's done correctly. I think that's the benefit, great benefit.
Okay, I think we are a bit yeah, sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Just last one question. Yeah, I just was thinking about that whole hospitality in terms of recording hours. We've seen different markets where they have either apps or there's some sort of thumbprint for doing that. Are you seeing that come into the local market and that sort of that automation piece with any of your clients at all, or is that still a very manual process?
still manual enough, is it? Is that what we're seeing?
Yeah, it's not really. We don't have a connection like that. No. We
Yeah.
try to get most of our clients onto a Google Sheet that we share with each other, so they can fill it in. We can ask them to make sure it's complete for running the payroll, and then we can review it.
Yeah, we're not seeing anything making sure that turning up. These owner managed businesses, they tend to be there, and they're all over that. So yeah, we're not seeing too much. They keep track of the hours themselves some way. Yeah, the timesheet you have there on the Plus version would be, and like not enough people, we use it all the time, but not enough people use that. That is not far off. Like what I've told people, keep track of, even to use it as a rota. But do you know the way that won't work on the phones? So unless people, well, here anyway, they have to go, like the timesheet, you can keep track of people's hours on that. That wouldn't be a bad way of mimicking that to do the payroll. The only thing is that it doesn't appear on the app. So unless your employee base all have a laptop, at least, it's not practical yet. So, so something that they could enter in the hours, the employees on the app, I think would be useful, and that would zoom into.
Or sign in, sign out, you know, like a clock in, clock out system, you know, like you see in hotels, you know, where you have a clocking in, clocking out system. You know, like that you could do that online. That would be great. Sorry.
Yeah. No, okay. I think on Simple Pay, it was more that each employee had a profile, you know, so they could put their hours in on one tab. The other tab told them what's in their payroll, their pension, bike to work scheme, all, you know, all the elements, you know, so had like, I think, I can't remember what the other tabs were, but there was like 3 or 4 tabs that has the information that makes up the payslip. And it was an app on the phone, I think, in it, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so
some sort of portal.
Yeah, we could message them and it would like come up like a text message and they could just write back, you know, so it was all very easy.
But extremely expensive.
Extremely expensive.
Okay. So Andrew, I think we've got what we wanted for now. I think we are off time also. So Kevin, this has been thoroughly helpful. At some point, you know, when it's more convenient, could you show us how a run works of payroll? You know, because I realize we are out of time today. You know, like say on call software, how you do it. You know, starting from where you get the inputs to how it's run, if possible. At some, it can be in future also, not necessarily.
Yeah, I'll have one of the girls run next. I think we do a recording. We can send it over. You can look at it, and then we can do a Zoom.
Yeah, okay, that's also good enough.
That sounds probably the best. Yeah,
that's really appreciate your effort. So yeah, I think,
this week. I think there's one coming up this week or next week for ourselves. Yeah, we'll do that.
Will do. Thank you. So otherwise, I think this has been a thoroughly helpful session. Really appreciate the time and the effort, you know, to coordinate your team and make sure they're available at an earlier. And thanks for all the share outs. And yeah, we'll stay in touch. Again, of course, just to clarify, at this step, we are actually in the stage of just trying to assess and understand what the issues are, rather than we have a specific solution in mind, you know, just to be transparent. But yeah, anyway, at least the point is, I think as you correctly said, we are looking into this problem as a high priority, though we are not, you know, framed our thoughts around how a solution would look like. We're just trying to understand from yourself, you know, as to what exactly are the issues we face, so that it puts us in the direction of getting the right solution.
Yeah. Oh yeah, great to see it coming down the tracks. People are always looking for it, you know, and especially if it'll coordinate in, it'd be great. Yeah.
Okay, so that's all I had, unless Andrew, Maya, anyone wants to add anything.
But just really, just thanks. Great to see you, Kevin, and appreciate your time. Lovely to meet you, Lisa and Annette, and appreciate your support and the insights you've provided. So it's really valuable to provide back to the team so that we can understand what the sort of the pain points are and how we can look to sort of solve those customer problems. So really appreciate your time.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
I'll send you over the recording in a while. And I'd just like to I just noticed that congratulate Andrew, be the only one who was able to go on the Zoom and not have to wear glasses. Isn't it great?
Yeah, actually,
I can't see a thing.
That way.
Yeah, all of it.
Yes.
Oh God. Okay. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Take care,
Thanks, Amin.
Cheers, thanks.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
See you later, Maya.